What's up all you lads and ladies? Welcome to another fascinating video in the world of Reddit. If you liked the video, post your favorite Reddit comment below, and I'll give you a shout out in my next video. Thanks to WB in my last video who commented that a post of mine got video made about it. Nice. Hope you enjoy this video about how to say no, even without a reason. Life pro tip: you don't always have to have a logical reason for saying no. I'm not comfortable with that is a really good reason. I have a hard time saying no, and today I was asked to use my personal social media for work purposes. Sharing communications to social media groups. The only times that I can comfortably say no is when I have a solid reason. I do not have the access, or I will be in a mandatory meeting at that time. But I had no reason other than I was very uncomfortable with it. So I politely told them that. They said okay, and we continued business as usual. I know that this life pro tip is not profound, but it surprised me that it worked. I hope that it helps others by me sharing. This gets easier with age. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that I've become a grumpy old bastard that has no problem saying no. Tell them you don't want to dilute your personal brand. This made me smile. I like it because 1. It's true, and 2. It's subtly insulting. I don't want to sully my name with your company's reputation. I'm not sure this is subtle. As someone who has learned to say no, most of the time just saying no or that won't work for me is enough for the other person to accept it. Yes. Unless the person asking is an asshole. The best part is when you've said number 5 times, then they're all like, you should have said no earlier. Then you're like, I freaking did, you deaf dong. To be fair, all dongs are deaf. What? Username checks out. I always remember the time I was circa 10 and had a friend invite me over, and I told my mom. The way I told her, she clearly figured out I didn't actually want to go, and she told me I was allowed to say no even if I didn't have a reason, and it was like an epiphany. Growing up, my mom always told me that if I didn't want to do something, I could always use her as a scapegoat. Mom's making me do this, etc. My Bill taught me this lesson. If you don't want to do something, don't. Learning to say no is one of the hardest lessons. Damn straight. What should I tell my boss if he calls and asks why I didn't show up though? Tell him no. He legally cannot make you work without your consent. Actually true. But he doesn't have to pay you either, lol. It gets easier the more you say it and your tone adjusts as well. Reading that request in your post, current middle-aged me was like, hell no. I often need to pause and hold a bit back. I'm probably going to be a rude old woman with no filter, judging by how I am now. Early 20s me would likely have needed the I'm not comfortable with that, because I still cared a lot about people's opinion of me. I tended to over-explain and give people openings to push. The sooner you learn the power of no, the better. Pull over and exit the vehicle now. Nope, don't think I'm comfortable with that. The twist is that the person demanding the other to pull over is driving a rusty old ice cream truck. I actually used this and got an absurd response. I stayed at my aunt and uncle's mansion for a few weeks at the beginning of lockdown. It was supposed to be a visit, but they were turning it into a work to stay kind of situation. They were asking me to perform increasingly time-consuming chores, which at first I happily obliged in order to be helpful. However, they then asked me to perform a large project that involved doing some work in their bedroom and bathroom, which for subtle and complex reasons, I felt uncomfortable entering. When I told them I was uncomfortable going into their bedroom, so I would leave that part of the project to them, they said they were uncomfortable with me not doing it. I told them I think my discomfort is equal to theirs, and they said it wasn't, because I was the guest in their house. I promptly packed up and left. Hey, it's me, your ex-uncle. Do you have some butt pics for our painting class? Additionally, no rational person can argue with you about your comfort level. This only works on mature people though. This goes double for dates. If someone asks you out and you don't want to go, just say no. Saying you have plans or are in a relationship implies that if you did not have those things, you'd say yes. Unfortunately, it's not that easy when it comes to some people. Many women will tell you that giving a straight no has ended up with them being followed, verbally abused and even attacked. Oh yeah, had a guy argue with me once about going on a date with him. He was an acquaintance of an acquaintance, and I was like no, not interested. And he starts in on me with how do you know you're not interested? You don't even know me. Like, I don't even like talking to you right now. I'm not going to do it again if I can help it. It escalated until I was practically yelling at him to leave me alone. I abandoned a full drink to get out of the argument. No is always good enough. Never say more than you have to. If pressed for a reason, then be as generic as possible. No is a complete sentence. If you don't give any reason at all, you don't give the other person an opening to try to talk you out of it. Why not? I just don't want it. If you mention your comfort level, they might try to make you feel more comfortable about something you were never going to do. This really depends on the situation. Sometimes that's a complete response, but many times, a valid follow-up question would be, okay, but what about the situation makes you uncomfortable? That can be a totally valid question from someone trying to understand what the underlying problem it is so it can be addressed. I'm fine with it, but I know my boss would respond with, well, to grow as a person we need to get out of our comfort zones. Can you reply? Sometimes, but not in this instance. Growing as a person also means firmly establishing your boundaries. I've never had a problem saying no. People for some reason feel they owe things or time to others. My life is my own, and if I don't want to do something, I just don't. I've been saying I'm not really comfortable with that to people a lot more lately, and it feels good. People don't question it much either. Being honest about your feelings out loud to people makes everyone more comfortable saying it, and people don't have to lie, makes up excuses, makes dealing with my friends loads better. I'm not comfortable with this, or that is on the same plane as this is unacceptable to me. It's incredibly surprising how well received both of these statements are. There's literally no argument they can have against you. And if you say to someone your behavior is unacceptable to me, watch them stop immediately. Most of the time people's emotional desire to please kicks in and trumps everything else, making them immediately stop. Can we expand this life pro tip by saying that a simple no is all that is needed? You don't have to explain yourself if you don't want to. It actually is profound in my opinion. Far too many people don't know this. No is a complete sentence. Repeat as necessary. Anytime anyone wants to know why means that they plan to try and overwhelm you with their logic and reason. Just no. What about it makes you uncomfortable? Everything. Be specific. Can you just not? Why are you being weird? I don't want to. You're acting really weird about this. Fine, I'll do it. This is how these convos always go for me. One of my favorite lines from Kurt goes something like, paraphrasing here. Man. Larry, do you want to meet for lunch tomorrow? Larry. No. Man. Oh. Are you busy? Larry. No. I just don't want to go to lunch. I have actually leaned more into this philosophy the past few years as family, friends, and co-workers start to bleed into my personal time. No. I don't want it. No excuses. No fake appointments. Just no. I don't want it. I do say yes sometime. Of course. But if I'm not feeling it, I don't fabricate some excuse. I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Means no. Is my favorite way of saying no. Said this to my boss and got fired. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell like it owes you money. Remember to post your favorite Reddit comment from the video for a chance to be featured in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this fantastic video about life advice. Show a small channel some love by liking and subscribing. Take care. Hip hip cheerio. Much love from me, Matt British.